Hello, welcome to our latest Queen Elizabeth Scholarship presentation from the McMaster Health Forum at McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'll provide you with a quick rundown of the McMaster Health Forum, the Queen Elizabeth Scholarship Program, and the Queen Elizabeth Scholarship Program here at the Forum. I will then turn it over to our scholar presenter who will talk about their experiences. The McMaster Health Forum aims to be the leading hub for improving health outcomes through collective problem solving. We harness information, convene stakeholders, and prepare action-oriented leaders to act as an agent of change by empowering stakeholders. The Canadian Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Scholarships, or QES for short, is managed through a unique partnership of Universities Canada, the Rita Hall Foundation, Community Foundations of Canada, and Canadian universities. This program is made possible with financial support from the Government of Canada, provincial governments, and the private sector. The purpose of the program is to activate a dynamic community of young global leaders to create lasting impacts both at home and abroad through cross-cultural exchanges encompassing international education, discovery and inquiry, and professional experiences. The McMaster Health Forum had a previous Queen Elizabeth Scholarship Program. We were very proud to have been selected as one of 20 Canadian institutions to host a second round of scholars. The new program ran from 2018 to the end of 2021, but was extended to the end of 2023. The focus of the McMaster Health Forum's current Queen Elizabeth Scholarship Program is strengthening health and social systems. Our scholars have contributed to strengthening health and social systems and have become part of our large and growing network of health and social system leaders. During our original Queen Elizabeth Scholarship Program, we hosted 14 incoming scholars, and we sent 3 outgoing scholars to work with our partners. We also had an additional 44 outgoing interns who traveled abroad to work with partners of the McMaster Health Forum. For our current Queen Elizabeth Scholarship Program on strengthening health and social systems, we have hosted 7 incoming scholars, and we have sent abroad 24 outgoing interns who have worked with our partners around the world. Our scholar presenter today is Amal, who at the time of QES was a graduate student in the Master of Science Global Health program at McMaster University with a specialization in implementing innovations on a global scale. Amal has an interest in the barriers faced by refugees when it comes to healthcare access, barriers as a result of sociocultural and political issues. During her internship, Amal hoped to gain greater insight into initiatives that improve the quality of healthcare access and delivery by bridging the gap between research, policy, and politics for evidence-informed policymaking. Amal, over to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Amal Hjjih, and today I'll be sharing my insights in Lebanon as a 2023 Queen Elizabeth Scholar. If you have any questions or need any clarification, I did put my email below as well as my LinkedIn, so please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always open to chat. This is an overview of the topics that I hope to cover in today's presentation. So I am going to start off with a little bit about myself, kind of tell you why I decided to go to Lebanon, an overview of Knowledge to Policy Center, which is the institution that I did my internship at the American University of Beirut. I'm then going to go into some professional experience, but also talk about my time in Lebanon and what I did, and then some key takeaways and lessons. I'm going to kick things off by giving you a bit of background about myself and why I went to Lebanon. Now, at the time, I was a graduate student at McMaster University. I was enrolled in the Global Health Program, and my research focus primarily centered around the Syrian refugee crisis in Lebanon. And I really wanted to focus it on how a refugee hosting country like Lebanon could strengthen its health system to promote inclusive healthcare for all, irrespective of nationality. Now, I am Jordanian Lebanese, born and raised in Canada. I did, though, spend the majority of my summers in Lebanon, so I do know the culture and language, although my Arabic improved a lot over the summer. And the last time I did visit Lebanon was 7 years ago, so a lot had changed from then and the time I went as a QES scholar. Now, before landing in Lebanon, I was already living outside of Canada. I did complete a semester abroad in the Netherlands, and then I went for a couple of weeks to India for a conference. So I was outside of Canada for a while before I entered into Lebanon, and so I do think that played a big role in adjusting to life in Lebanon. But I do also want to emphasize that anyone can go to Lebanon, and I do encourage you to consider it if you're contemplating it. I loved Lebanon, and I'm very thankful for McMaster Health Forum for such an amazing opportunity. I spent 3 months at the Knowledge to Policy Center, also known as K2P, at the American University of Beirut. I was based in Beirut for the full 3 months, and that's just the capital of Lebanon. And the center is really an interdisciplinary research center. It's a hub for research and knowledge translation, and it tries to bridge the gap between academic research and policy development. And it also aims to promote evidence-informed decision-making by conducting research and facilitating the translation of that research into policies and practices. A big part of the center is it actively engages with policymakers, government agencies, as well as NGOs and other stakeholders. The purpose of this is to really ensure that research findings are integrated into policy discussions and decision-making processes. The staff at K2P also provided me with support both on a professional level as well as a personal level. So on a professional level, they had this commitment to my academic growth and success, and they offered guidance, mentorship, as well as valuable resources daily to really ensure that I had a collaborative and stimulating environment at the center. And so they would always inform me of events like policy dialogues that could take place and just kind of let me know that I could also be a part of those. On a personal level, the staff really did help me navigate Lebanon, whether it was finding what grocery stores to go to, what restaurants to eat at, or even tourist places to explore while I was there, and really essentially just navigating the ins and outs. And I know a couple of the staff gave me salon recommendations, clothing stores to visit, and one of the staff member actually found me a place to sublease for the last 2 months that I was in Lebanon because I initially was staying in an apartment for a month that was just not suitable for me, and I really did need to leave. And so, yeah, the staff was very helpful and kind. During my first week at K2P, I met with Dr. Fadi Al-Jardali, the director of K2P, to really discuss my goals and what I wanted to get out of this internship. And in the beginning, I was interested in health policy and economics among refugee populations, and I really wanted to complete my master's research paper on such a topic. Now, at that same time, the K2P team was closing on a multi-country study that informed public policies and decision-making at the national, regional, and global levels concerning the integration of refugees into the national health systems, and ultimately to enhance equity and strengthen sustainable health services for refugees and host communities. And so I, alongside Dr. Fadi and Lema Bukaram, an evidence lead specialist at K2P, we decided to write a briefing note. And a briefing note is a knowledge translation product. It really advises policymakers and stakeholders about a pressing public issue, and it brings together global research evidence as well as local evidence. And the topic was on promoting inclusive healthcare for non-nationals in Lebanon. And that's through innovative health financing mechanisms to ultimately advance universal healthcare coverage. And the innovative mechanisms could really benefit the national health system and refugees, and that fosters greater equity and efficiency in healthcare provision. In preparing for the briefing note, I was able to devise a search strategy and screen through relevant literature. I assisted in data collection, analysis, and interpretation, aiding evidence-based policy recommendations for enhanced healthcare accessibility among vulnerable populations. And I got a lot of support from the staff. All of them were really able to help me out and just guide me towards writing the note. Alongside the briefing note, I was involved in many initiatives. I was given the opportunity to attend 2 policy dialogues, one on health financing for universal health coverage in Lebanon, and the second one was primarily focused on clinical research. And from the policy dialogue on clinical research, I was able to support a dialogue summary, which is just another knowledge translation product. In addition, I was on a project to enhance child immunization access to improve children's health outcomes in partnership with UNICEF Lebanon. I also supported a youth policy bootcamp empowering young individuals with policy analysis skills as future policymakers, and it was an amazing 2-week bootcamp with such great high school students across Lebanon. My QES internship in Lebanon was an absolute unique experience. I loved Lebanon, and I consider it now my home away from home, to the point where near the end of my time, once I was done my internship and ready to go back to Canada, I really did struggle coming back because I just loved Lebanon and I felt really connected there. Lebanon is an absolutely beautiful and incredible country. There's diverse culture, and I really do encourage you to explore and be open to meeting new people, especially as a QES scholar, going by yourself to a new country and having a new setting and surrounding. And the people were very generous. They're very hospitable. I did make a lot of friends that treated me like family, and I'm still in contact with them. I also had the opportunity for my sisters to come and visit me for a couple of weeks, and I was able to enjoy their company and really go outside of Beirut and create new memories with them. Reflecting on my time in Lebanon, I have many experiences that really shaped not just my own professional growth, but also my personal journey. And the first key takeaway that I really want to let you guys know is do things that you love. And Lebanon taught me that even if you're back in Canada or in Lebanon or even in a different country, do things that you love that give you a sense of familiarity. So I love to explore bookstores and street markets. And so in Beirut, I was able to go to a lot of bookstores. I was able to go and visit Sunday markets in different districts in Beirut. And I also love sunset walks along the water. And I tried a bunch of coffee shops. These are things that I like to do in Canada that I decided to try out in Lebanon. I also decided to get a gym membership at F45. So I did F45 in Canada, and when I saw that they were opening a new studio, it was only a 10-minute walk from my apartment. I signed up and I consistently went, and I was able to make friends and really have just a really strong sense of community. So what I'm saying is I did simple things that I used to do in Canada, and it really adds to your experience, and it really does make this new country feel like home. My second key takeaway is embrace the unfamiliarity. Lebanon has a unique way of throwing surprises at you, especially if you're coming from Canada, and I've learned to embrace the unfamiliar. I came into Lebanon while it was in an economic crisis. It still is. And there's regular electricity cuts. There's internet issues. When I was there was a 2-week heat wave. And also, I only paid in cash when I was in Lebanon. Credit cards are not used there because of the economic crisis. But that being said, I also encountered different ways of doing things. And so these challenges just become opportunities for growth. My third key takeaway is go meet people. Meeting people really has been the heart of my experience, whether it's hanging out with my roommates, having conversations with people while I'm at a restaurant, or I'm traveling and exploring different cities by myself. Connecting with others really did add another layer of depth to my time in Lebanon. And my last key takeaway is have a lot of first experiences. Leaving my comfort zone has gave me a lot of experiences that I am very thankful for. Being a QES scholar in a country you're not really familiar with forces you to do things alone. And that's not a bad thing. It might be a little bit awkward at first, but the more you do it, the more you want to do it again. Or at least that's from my experience. You're only there for a really small period of your time, and you want to make sure you make the most of your experience. So I would explore different cities. I would go to cafes, go to restaurants. I also would go to beaches when the weather was nice. I went to concerts, and I did those mostly by myself. And I really did have the most fun doing it. Obviously, it's nice to have someone to share those experiences with, But when you're by yourself in a country that no one really knows you and you're there for a very finite amount of time, you're just really forced to kind of enjoy your own company. I want to finish off with a sincere thank you to the Queen Elizabeth Program for funding and giving me the opportunity to visit Lebanon. I also want to extend a thanks to James for his support, guidance, and coordination, the McMaster Health Forum, and the incredible team at K2P. Thank you for listening. My email contact is in the presentation, so please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or need really any clarification on the topics I covered.